Swindu, Lawrence, Hitty, QB, Saloka. Oh my god, guys, please. Manuant here, Lalamado. Okay, confirm. Should be everything. That should be everything. Sim settings, wars and flags. Did I change this back? Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, now we can go. As long as Theodore Man is in the right car, which he isn't. But whatever. It's fine. Oh, wait, 1 second. It's rules and flags, isn't it? Rules and flags, formation map, off. There we go. Right, let's try this again, shall we? Hi Rick, could you take care of the new person in the welcome channel, please? Thank you. So we got 9 drivers for the race. Hopefully everyone remembers to put their setups on. We don't have Parc Ferme. That's annoying. From the wet quali. Oh well. Not a biggie. Alright, 25, 24 seconds until go time. I'm praying that that we don't get another game crash. Absolutely praying. Alright, here we go. And we're off. Yep, we are off. Okay. Someone has forgotten that to start that is Saloka, but we're underway. QB's gone for a spin at the start with 3 wide nearly into turn 1, but Lawrence has Swindu. It's Lawrence who takes the lead from P3 on the grid. Theodore Man just behind in the Red Bull. He's changed teams between qualifying and the race. But Swindu in P2, Lawrence takes P1, Theodore Man just behind them in P3. Muhiti trying to keep up in the Ferrari, but he's gone very deep there with his cold tyres, and Tia is trying to take advantage of that. He's made a brilliant start in the Aston Martin. Swindu started on the hard, so that's why his pace is to Lawrence D at the start of this race. Muhiti just behind Tia has lost out and is now under pressure from Lil Manny Man in the Williams, and there's a little bit of contact as they go through the hairpin, but they both survive, thankfully. Lalo Mado up to P8. QB after his spin has recovered quite nicely, actually. He's not too far behind. Saloka and Lalo both at the back as well, 6 seconds down on the rest of the pack. Tia really not liking this track, it seems, here in Japan. not having a good time in that Aston Martin, under pressure from Lil Manny Man, not able to keep up with Muhiti at the moment. Maybe he'll get into his groove as the laps go on, but Fido Man desperately trying to get past Sir Swindu because he knows he's going to be losing time behind the AlphaTauri since Swindu has started on the hard tyres. But Fido unable to make any progress for now. We've got yellow flags. That's QB again. I think Sir Lockhart's had a spin as well, or maybe it was just Sir Lockhart, as Fido Man right behind Sir Swindu, almost pushing him through turns 1 and 2. QB up to P7 past Lalo Mado, who's really struggling at the moment. What is happening to Lalo Mado? He is really slowed down here. Maybe he's slowing to let Sir Lockhart through. Maybe there was contact. I'm not sure, but Muhiti in P4, trying to stay with this pack, as is Tier. We've got more yellow flags. That's Lalo Mado. I think he is slowing down to let... Yeah, there must have been contact there. Lalo slowing to let Sir Lockhart back through, which is very nice of him. Doesn't have to do that, especially on a pre-season race. But Muhiti takes advantage. Oh, no, he doesn't. He goes into the wall and he's out. Muhiti tried to get too much throttle on, and he is out of the race. He saw the opportunity. Fido Man went really wide at the hairpin and Muhiti said thank you very much, and then nope, he was into the wall. He's out of the race, the first casualty of this race in Japan. I don't think he'll be the last. It's a very difficult track, but Fido Man has been gifted there really, as Muhiti had that position and he's just spun into the wall, trying to get too much power down to take advantage of Fido Man going wide. And he is out of the race. So Fido Man given a breather after his mistake. And I think there's a VSC for that crash. I think that's what we are currently in. Doesn't tell me at the top left, and yeah, it was a VSC because Lalo Mado's just got himself a drive-through penalty, and I don't think he was the only one either. Yeah, Tia with a drive-through, Sir Lockhart with a drive-through, Lalo Mado also with a drive-through penalty, so all those guys, maybe a slight game glitch being the victim there. Or the cause of the slew of drive-through penalties. It's a shame for Tier. He's had such a brilliant start. He's up to P4, but yeah, that drive-through is going to set him right back to the back of the grid, and Lil Manny Man will be into P4. Fido Man is trying to keep up with Sir Swindu, but those hard tyres starting to come into their own for the AlphaTauri, and he's showing his true pace out there. Lalo Mado goes for another spin. He is really not enjoying himself at the moment, as Tier nearly within a second of Fido Man, but it's not going to matter because he does have that drive-through penalty. As he nearly goes for a spin at 130R there, makes a big mistake, and Lil Manny Man going to try and take advantage. Is Tier going to take his drive-through straight away? That's the question. Yes, he is. Into the pits comes the Aston Martin, so drive-through for Tier. And yeah, that's going to drop him all the way back behind QB. He was just coming through the last corner now. Through goes the McLaren up to P5. He'll be very happy with that. It was a brilliant qualifying for him as well. QB definitely more on the pace on this new game, which is great to see. Hopefully he can keep it up. But yeah, all the gaps have kind of increased from each other now, so there's not really any battles to speak of other than Sir Swindu trying to keep on track with Lawrence D on those hard tyres. But yeah, at the moment it's a little bit too spread out for us to really have anything to comment on. So LB, yeah, LB has definitely cursed Muhiti there. Go on, Muhiti, immediately crashes. But yeah, we've got yellow flags again as Lalo Mado has now gone for a spin. No, I think he's retired in the pit lane. He's had enough. So yeah, unfortunate for the Haas driver. He's just come into reserve today. We've got another spin. I think that's Lil Manny Man going for a spin at Spoon corner, so that relieves even more pressure from Fido Man. And yeah, these gaps only getting bigger and bigger. Lawrence D sets the fastest lap. He is slowly pulling away from Sir Swindoo at the moment, as you'd expect on those medium tyres. And these are definitely the top two in terms of pace. In the dry, anyways, Fido Man was very good in that last wet lap, which unfortunately we didn't get to see. Thank you, Codemasters, for that. But yeah, so we're down to 7 drivers now for the rest of this race, which, you know, as I was saying earlier, you hope for more. Even if it's a pre-season race, you do hope for more drivers. Little Manny Man's gone for another spin. He's not had a good time in this last few minutes, and another spin on the exceptionally hot tyres after the first spin. So yeah, Little Manny Man, you've got to be so careful on this game with tyre temps. It's much more difficult to get into spin, to get out of spins like that and then not spin again, as Little Manny Man is kindly demonstrating for us with 3 spins in a row. Can he make it 4 at the next corner? No, he's kept it on the track this time, but he is now going to be under pressure from Sir Lockett fairly soon. He's only 3 seconds down after all those spins for the Williams. And trying to keep an eye on any gaps that are falling to see if we can follow any battles. But no one battling at the moment, although Tier is getting very close to the back of QB, so this is going to be the first battle. I think QB made a mistake there through Spoon, so Tier is definitely catching that McLaren, and I think we'll see finally a battle soon. Yeah, within that 1 second range now. So here comes Tier. So Lockett about 2 seconds down from Lil Manny Man. That gap is coming down as well. So Lockett proving that he does have the pace. He showed it last week. He had a lot of pace in France. And it was looking very strong indeed. Pretty much on Muhiti level of pace was Sir Lockett. So could be a challenger this season in the Alfa Romeo. And he's chasing after Lil Manny Man right now. Those medium tyres really working for him, and that gap coming down and down. Tier not able to make much inroad on QB since the last time we looked. QB just about keeping on the pace, which is great to see, as I said, in that McLaren. It is now just about within a second, but the only DRS zone on the track is the start-finish straight, and QB uses a lot of VRS there to stay out of that 1 second range. But it does mean he's now got not a lot left at all, and he's using even more on the exit of Spoon. His Tier has got a much better exit. So Swindoo now sets the fastest lap, so those hards coming into play at this point, those mediums starting to deteriorate a little bit, which allows Swindoo to extend, well, to close up that gap. Tier is now within the 1 second range. Was he within the 1 second range at the DRS point? No, he wasn't, so no DRS for Tier at this point. Sir Lockett could have DRS if he gets a really good run through 130R and Lil Manny Man makes a mistake. Does Lil Manny Man lift? He does. He does lift slightly. Sir Lockett, I don't think he did, because that gap has come way down, but it's not quite within a second at the activation point, so no DRS for the Alfa Romeo either. It is unfortunately too late to join, Alex. I'm sorry about that. Would have loved to have you here. As Tier goes on the grass, I'm very surprised he didn't spin there. That is some great driving from him to avoid the wall. As QB makes a mistake on the second right-hander, and that's a simple overtake for Tier in the end. No effort needed, as the McLaren is going to now try to stay on board with the Aston Martin, but it's already out of range, out of that 1 second margin, and I think QB is going to be waving that Aston Martin goodbye for now, unless Tier has another spin. So Lockett 1.5 seconds behind Lil Manny Man. The gap has come down, but not as much recently. It's sort of stayed where it is. I will switch off that horrific onboard cam with the sound glitch there. You can see the massive ERS difference between the two. So Lockhart desperately trying to get within the 1 second range with that ERS, but Lil Manny Man has got plenty left and he's using a little bit now just to stay out of range of the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, your new wheel, G29, have you tried it out yet, mate? Because you were on controller before, weren't you? So it will be a very new change. And you might not, just a warning, you might not be on the pace as much as you were before for maybe a month or two, but you'll get the hang of it, I'm sure. We've got another spinner. That's Lil Manny Man, I think, who's gone for a spin. No, it's not. Who's that? Wait, who is that? Oh, it's Tia. Oh no, just as I said it. Unless he has another spin, QB will be waving him goodbye. And what does he do? He has another spin. That's unfortunate for the Aston Martin because he was going well. Lil Manny Man's gone for another spin as well. He goes into the barrier. The one thing you can't get on this game is rear wing damage. Do not get rear wing damage. Just don't do it. It makes the car completely undrivable for the entire race because you can't pit. We've got to keep an eye on the front though. I've got to stop rambling because Sir Swindu is now within a second of Lawrence D. Those hard tyres have come into play and we could have a battle pretty soon for the lead of this race. And I've just got it now, but had a bit to drink, so I'll wait till tomorrow. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. So Swindu in the AlphaTauri, 6/10 down on the Alpine. And that gap has slowly come down, and now it's within DRS range. So Swindu's going to hope to make the overtake as soon as he can. Tier is coming into the pits. Maybe he had damage, or maybe he's just getting rid of those medium tyres. Not happy on them at all. It does seem like the mediums don't last very long on this track. Is that Fido Man's gone for a spin? The third place driver at the hairpin. He's gone for a spin at the exact same place that Muhiti spun while trying to overtake him. But the difference is the Red Bull has avoided the wall and he can carry on as normal. He's still got a huge margin to P4, so it could be a lonely race, unfortunately, for Fido Man. But as I say, I'm sure when the season starts we'll have a bigger grid. And well, we have a big grid, it's just not many of them turned up today. So I'm sure next week we'll have a lot more people racing. But here we go, Sir Swindu going to make the move. He's got the DRS, he's going to use that ERS to the inside. Goes the AlphaTauri and he takes P1 from Lawrence. And I think the Alpine's going to find it really difficult to stay on board with Sir Swindu in these next few corners, or maybe just even this lap. Because those mediums seem to be dropping off pretty quickly in comparison to the hards. And Lawrence has got to try and stay within DRS at least on this lap, just to get that extra advantage for a little bit longer, but it's going to be so difficult to keep on track with Sir Swindu. So those hard tyres have really activated now, as it were. Tier has come out on the softs, so he's going to be very fast for a little while. Lawrence 8/9 down. Can he stay with Sir Swindu through Spoon? He goes a bit wide. That'll be a track limits warning for the Alpine, but he figures it's worth it to stay within DRS range. He will have the DRS up towards turn 1. Look at the ERS. Sir Swindu's got nothing left. And Lawrence will see that. He'll see the flashing red light on the back of that AlphaTauri, and he'll know that Sir Swindu at least is not going to have that straight line speed on the Alpine. That'll be another track limits warning for Lawrence, so he should be on 2 now by my reckoning. Sir Swindu sets the fastest lap, unsurprisingly, as Lawrence has the DRS, so able to close up that gap and stay within a second for now. So Swindu in tier 2. Yes, asterisk. We'll we'll get to that. Just need to look at something in the Discord. I am keeping an eye on the action. That's the thing with so few drivers, you can sort of multitask even while commentating. As Lawrence goes for a spin, nearly just about saves the car before he goes into the wall. That's good driving from him. But he has now lost that 1 second gap to Swindu, just trying to push a bit too hard to stay in contact with the AlphaTauri, and ends up having a half spin, but well caught by the Alpine. Tierce, that's the fastest lap, further back on the softs, unsurprisingly. Lawrence is now losing time consistently to Swindu, and when will we see the first planned pit stops? We've seen quite a few pit stops, but none of them planned, so we've got Lil Manny Man just getting out the way with blue flags there. We've got a yellow flag across the whole track. No, I think it's fine. Yeah, Lil Manny Man is hoping for a safety car. I think everyone's hoping for a safety car, really. It's pretty boring for most of the drivers on the grid, unfortunately. But as I say, next week it should be a lot better as the season begins. But Lawrence, 1.8, 1.7 behind. So Swindu gets a 3-second time penalty. That could be critical. Let's have a quick look at the warnings, since there's no real battles on track. Does Lawrence have 2 warnings? He does have 2 warnings, but not on the lap that I thought he would have the 2 warnings on. So he is on fragile ground in that Alpine, and that is a 3-second time penalty. There's the 3rd warning. As soon as I come off the pause menu, goes wide at Spoon, gets that 3rd warning. So unfortunately a penalty for him. Let's have a quick look at lap times while we're here. So Swindu is sort of 35s, high 34s maybe at the moment. Lawrence 35s, mid 35s into the 36s, now 37s as the tyres start to wear. Man 36s to begin with, and then he had the spin, and now still 36s. Okay, that was a good lap from Man, that last time around, lap 12. Lawrence D 35.3, 35.3, Man 36, 35.7, 35.2, 35.3. Okay. Good to know. Lawrence has come into the pits, by the way, for the hard tyres, so that's why his last lap was not as good. So he is now 6 seconds down on Man, so he lost around about 22 seconds. More like 20... Oh, he's gone for a spin, though, and he's out! Oh, Lawrence D! He spun at the same place that Tier spun earlier. But the difference is, he is out of the race. That's the 2nd DNF of the day. That's a really unfortunate one for him. So Swindu will be happy about that, because he is now unchallenged at the front. No safety car, which is absolutely shocking, to be honest. He's right on the racing line almost. I know he's in the grass, but still, at least a VSC you'd expect. So Lockhart has come in for a set of the hards as well. But yeah, and now that makes everyone a little more lonely than they were before. But look at this, QB is in P3. You love to see it. And so, yeah, better to do that now than next week. Man into the pits as well. Those mediums clearly time to get off of those yellow walled tyres. Onto the hards he goes. Will he come out ahead of QB? I don't think so. I think QB will be just ahead of him, which will be interesting with the cold, hard tyres that he will have on in that Red Bull. So here he comes out the pits now. QB is right behind, and Peterman goes very deep on the cold tyres, and QB takes P2. Of course, still yet to pit is the McLaren, but Peterman will get those hards up to temperature by the end of this lap. Seems to be pretty tough to drive on those hards. Peterman very tentative there, trying not to make the same mistake that Lawrence did. He's running well at the moment. QB about 2 seconds up the road. And a huge lockup for the McLaren at the hairpin. It'll cost him a few tenths. Allow Peterman to perhaps get a little bit closer. I think those hards are just about warmed up now for the Red Bull, so he'll be closing down the McLaren pretty quickly, I would have thought. As those mediums seem to be absolutely busted by this point. Here on the soft still. He's going to have to pit again, of course, but he will come out just behind Soloket when he does pit, so that could make for some interesting racing towards the end. Little Manny Man still valiantly driving at the back at the moment, desperately hoping for a safety car. I'm shocked that we didn't get one after the Lawrence crash, but so be it. Codemasters decreed it so we will not have a safety car. Peterman just about teetering on that 2-second margin to QB, and now that gap is coming down, so the hards have come up to temperature. We've got yellow flags. Who's that that's spun? I think it's Lil Manny Man at Spoon. Yeah, it is. So his day goes from bad to worse, unfortunately. Still a top 6 finish for him. Not that that means much at this point. But hey, good for morale. If you can say, hey, I finished top 5. How many drivers were there? 9 and 4 crashed, but it's fine. That gap really coming down between Peterman and QB. When is the McLaren going to pit? You would think it would be pretty soon. Those mediums seem absolutely shot. Is QB going medium soft, I wonder? Soloket's got himself a 3-second time penalty. But is QB going to try that strategy, the medium to soft? Does he come in this lap? That should be telling. No, he doesn't. I think that's exactly what he's doing. I think he's going for medium soft, which is a very ballsy strategy. But Tier has been out on the softs for nearly 7 laps now. So if QB can survive another 4 laps or so on the mediums, then he'll be fine for a soft stint at the end. But making those mediums last, it's got to be really difficult. Peterman right behind now, so this overtake should be done pretty soon, I would have thought. Might be done into the hairpin, maybe. Big lock up for Peterman, but even worse for QB. So Swindoo's into the pits, but he's so far ahead it doesn't matter. He's going to come out well ahead of these two regardless. But Peterman on the hard tyres, trying to get past this McLaren as soon as he can. QB goes a bit deep. Peterman just having to stay behind him for now. Got to hold out hope that Swindoo will make a mistake, because as it stands, he is absolutely nowhere near him. But if there is a big mistake from Swindoo, then Peterman will be the first to capitalise as QB goes very, very deep into the chicane. I think he might have been letting Fidoman through there, or maybe those mediums are just done. Maybe there's a puncture actually. I think that's a puncture on the rear, maybe? It's tough to tell. He takes out the marshal's board, but into the pits comes QB. A new set of tyres for the McLaren. Onto the soft, so he is doing what I said. He's going for the medium soft strategy, and that will provide Tyr with a challenge. As he will be just about ahead of QB. Here he comes out the pits now in the McLaren. He'll be on the soft tyres, but fresh softs all the way to the end. Tyr has got to stop again, so QB is in a really good spot for a possible podium, which would be absolutely fantastic. That's a cool view. I like how it shows the tree and then pans over to the car as it comes past. When are those softs going to run out for Tyr? It can't be too far away. So Swindu with a huge gap. His main challenger out of the race, and Fidoman well behind. So it would take a monumental mistake for him to lose this race now. But a good first outing for Fidoman, I think. He's raced very well today. I know there's not been much in the way of racing action, but he's been consistent and he's kept his car going. Few mistakes, but didn't end up in the wall like some people. Obviously that mistake early on where Muhiti tried to make the move into this corner right here, and then just too much throttle on the exit and he was in the wall and out of the race. Tyr comes out just behind Salokot on the soft, so this could be a battle towards the end. 2.7 seconds down is the Aston Martin, but it'll be on much faster soft tyres to all the way to the end of the race. Swindu with the fastest lap, unsurprisingly, 32.8. Crossplay with Sumo. The audio is broken between platforms. When I spectate him, I hear either max revs or max brakes. Oh yeah. That's a bug throughout. That's not just crossplay, Ash. that's a general spectator bug that they seem to have made a little bit better on PS4, but it still exists. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. No problem. Tyr within the 2 seconds now. He'll be catching up to the back of that Alfa Romeo very quickly indeed. Soft tyres serving him well. And we should have an attempt at an overtake being made as Tyr gets a 3-second time penalty, which I believe brings them into parity with each other. Yes, it does, both on 3 seconds. So this is a straight battle for P4. And say it with me, we're going to get some racing action today. This play turns out proper. I might be trying that Tier 2 sometime. Oh, we'd love to have you in Tier 2, Ash. I think what we're going to do is have it PS4 only for the first season, and then for future seasons turn on crossplay, assuming that it works well, because there's been a fair few issues with it that I've seen from other leagues testing it so far, so I'm not too comfortable trialing it for this season yet. Yeah, playing it by ear. at the moment. Maybe halfway through the season we'll rethink, but for now we'll leave it PS4 only, which is annoying because I would like to turn on crossplay because we need drivers for like elite and sprints. But at the moment I would rather have glitch-free races than full grids. So yeah, maybe halfway through the season we can reconsider and get more drivers in. As Tia nearly goes for a spin there, trying to get too much power down on that right-hander of the chicane. But he's able to keep the car on the track, crucially. He is right behind this Alfa Romeo. On much better tyres, but they won't be much better for too long. Those softs will start to die towards the end of the race, but Tia practically pushing Sir Lockhart through these S's. The Alfa Romeo just driving as fast as he can, but Tia is so much faster with the grippier soft tyres. They're just unable to make any headway. And here he comes now, he's using the ERS, there's going to be a move into the hairpin perhaps, Tia backs out, Sir Lockhart did leave the room, but very sensible from Tia to back out of that one. That could easily have ended in tears, and now here comes the move round the outside on the exit of the hairpin. Great move from Tia, using the grip of the soft tyres to get a better exit. And into P4 goes the Aston Martin. Great stuff. We got some racing action today, I'm very happy. Yeah, Sir Lockhart down to P5. And not really much he could do on those hard tyres, really. Although he is keeping on track with Tia for now. Maybe he can have a sniff into turn 1, but I've just looked at his ERS battery, and I will take back that statement. As, is that Fido Man that's gone for a spin? It is Fido Man. So he's got I mean, by far a big enough gap for it not to matter, but yeah, he'll be disappointed. He's had a couple of spins so far today, and that's nearly another one through the hairpin. You've got to be careful once you've spun once. Very easy to spin again, especially on this game with the tyre temps being so important. As Tia has gone for a spin. Oh no! After all the progress he made, he's gone for a spin, and back down to P5 he goes. Sir Lockhart gifted 4th place. And Tia, try not to spin again, mate, please. Oh, nearly. Fido Man gets himself a time penalty. QB, the only one without a penalty. Sorry, no, Lil Manny Man doesn't have one either. Tia really struggling through that hairpin on those super hot tyres now. About 6 laps to go in this race. Just a bit of practice for everyone, a bit of practice for me in the commentary box, bit of practice for the guys on track. We had a 1 or 2 good little battles, so that's good to see, at least. But yeah, as I say, if you're watching this and you think, wow, APPF1, only 9 drivers on the grid, this is not representative of what it will be like when the season actually starts. This is just pre-season. And I'm sure there'll be more drivers. As QB goes to a spin, could this open up the battle for the podium? Sir Lockhart is just about to approach. And there could be a podium on the cards for the Alfa Romeo here. QB now only 3 seconds up the road, and those softs are really going to drop off towards the end. And Sir Lockhart, even with that 3-second penalty, I can see him getting on the podium here. It's a big shame for QB, but a spin for him, and Tia goes for another spin as well, just as he gets lapped. So, yeah, a few mistakes today, but it is Japan. This is such a tough track. It's so easy to make mistakes. As now Sir Lockhart within a second of QB, so those softs already starting to die off, especially after the spin being overheated the way they are. Lockett going wide at Spoon, but he is going to have a chance here if he can stay within DRS range. They're both using some of that battery, so Lockett has a lot less in the tank. Tier goes for another spin. Tier, just drive around at 30 miles an hour until you get the tyres back up to temperature. Little Manny Man is now up to P5 as Tier's day goes from bad to worse. But Sir Lockett's made the move. QB goes deep again into the chicane, and Sir Lockett up to P3. QB now has got to stay within 3 seconds to keep a hold of that podium, but that's going to be so difficult towards the end as those softs start to wear away. And I think this will be a podium for Sir Lockett. Swindu pits to get the fastest lap, no doubt. He's going to go on the soft tyres towards the end. He's got a gap for nearly 2 pit stops, so he might as well. Onto the softs he goes. And back out on track to set that fastest lap. I do wonder if he spins on those cold tyres, Fido Man could be brought right back into this. So it's not quite over yet. QB already out of that 3-second range, so another mistake from the McLaren. And I think that is P4 pretty much sealed for him. It looked like he could get a podium, but that mistake has cost him in the end. Tier in the pits again for another set of softs. He has not had the most ideal day, but at least he has had 27 more, well, he is going to have around 25, 26 more laps of practice than those who crashed early on. So if you look at it like that, Tier, you're absolutely fine. Fidoman 19 seconds down on Sir Swindu. Once he gets those softs up to temperature, which they should be already, that gap is going to explode. Here is our race leader. Going to be looking for the fastest lap, so we're right on board with Sir Swindu as he goes for the fastest lap. 25 of 27 off the line, and now using that ERS to get as much speed as possible. He wants a monumental fastest lap here. What's the lap record? We do APPF1 lap records. I am recording them even through pre-season races, so an opportunity for Sir Swindu to get himself immortalise himself here. Fido Man's going to pit as well. He's got a pitting margin to Sir Lockett. So onto the softs he goes to go for the fastest lap. Sir Swindu all the way through the end of Sector 1, 3/10 up on his previous best already. And using that ERS all the way down every straight. Into the hairpin. Very clean through there. We've got another spin for Tier in Sector 1. Oh, Tier. Oh, Tier. And lapped by Fido Man. He's just come out the pits. Here comes Swindu through Spoon. That's a little bit deep there. He won't be happy with that. He uses all the ARS he can to make up for it, but look at that little yellow bar just to the right of the battery. That is depleting. Once that reaches 0, he won't have any more to spend. And it has reached 0, I think, just about now. So, yeah, there we go. So he won't have any to use down towards the line here, but it's still a unbeatable fastest lap, really. 31.6. I don't see anyone beating that at the end. Fido Man. In the Red Bull, he's going to attempt the fastest lap as well. So we are nearing the final lap of the race. Again, I apologise if you're watching and it's not the most exciting race. That's totally fine. It's pre-season, as I said. It should be a lot better next week. Tier has retired from the session. That's the last corner he's had a spin at, and this time it is terminal, but he will be classified at least, but I don't think he's going to care too much. He has had a nightmare day on track today. We'll be hoping not to repeat that next week when the season begins. What's everyone's fastest laps? 31.6, 34.7, but I think he's going for a better lap. Yeah, 4.5 tenths faster through Sector 1, so keep an eye on Thedo Man. See if he can get anywhere near Swindu's time. Swindu crosses the line to start the final lap of the race. It's been a pretty lonely race after Lawrence crashed. He thought he would be challenged by the Alpine today, but unfortunately a spin for Lawrence has put paid to that, and so Swindu with a incredibly dominant performance in that AlphaTauri. Gets himself a time penalty for his trouble as well. Theo Man coming up to the line now. What's his lap going to be? Around the final chicane. Very nice line through there. Up towards the start-finish line. Say 33.5 for the Red Bull. So we'll run on board with Swindu as he brings this race to a close. And coming through the last few corners now. Down towards the final chicane. It's been an imperious race from Sir Swindu. Unchallenged. Across the line he comes to win this pre-season Japanese Grand Prix. And he'll be happy with the way he's driven today. Thedo Man will also be happy. He's 4 tenths up on his previous lap, by the way, so he will get a little bit closer to Swindu's time. As long as he doesn't bottle it from here on out. Towards 130 out, using that ERS to improve on his previous best. But he's a lot slower through Sector 2, so must have been a mistake there somewhere from Thedo Man, unless that's a glitch on the side of Codemasters. We'll find out as he comes across the line. No, he is way down on his previous best, so 35.2, and Thedo Man finishes in P2, again pretty much unchallenged. But he drove very well today. He should be happy about his drive and optimistic for the season beginning next week. Sir Lockhart comes home in P3. Distinguished drive from the Alfa Romeo after some bad luck at the start. QB comes home in P4, consistent as ever, and he will end off this race. And there we go. Sir Swindu wins the race. Thedo Man a long way back. Sir Lockhart P3. QB P4. With Lil Manny Man in P5. A lap down and tier. Lawrence Lalamado and Muhiti all unable to finish the race in the end. So there we go. Again, sorry it was a little bit boring, but that's okay. It's pre-season. We'll have a much better grid next week for the start of Season 5. I hope I'll see you there. It will be on Sumo's channel. I should be doing onboards on my channel as well. So keep an eye on both of our channels and on all of our APPF1 affiliates as well. I'll see you then. See you next week. And goodbye, everyone.